friends. Uncle Marv here, and welcome to another episode of the IT Business Podcast, presented by Threat Locker, Zero Trust, Total Control. You'll hear more about them later, but welcome. This is the Wednesday live show, which we do just about every Wednesday at this time, and I usually will have a guest, we'll have a topic, we'll talk about things, unlike last week, which was a ramble night for me, but tonight, you've already seen the information, and I've got Tom Wyant sitting in the green room, and we're going to talk about Ubiquiti, and I will talk about all the things I've done. I'll get his critique. He's a big Ubiquiti guy, so we'll see if I'm doing things right or not. Before we get started with that, I need to give a couple of shout-outs. The one shout-out I want to give just to start off is I got a little mention the other day, I believe on Monday, from Corey Kirkendall, who had me on a list. And the list was recognizing podcasters because yesterday, September 30th, was International Podcasters Day, or International Podcast Day. And he added me to a bunch of names on that list and saying thank you all for, supporting us and doing all of that. And I was so happy because it's probably the first list that I've been on of all the lists that are out there of which podcast do you listen to. Haven't seen Uncle Marv's IT Business Podcast on the list. So thank you, Corey, for putting me on that list. It's an interesting thing, International Podcasters Day. I don't remember if I had heard about it before or not, and how sad is that? Because that day has been happening since 2014. So shame on us for really not paying attention. But again, thank you to Corey. Of course, Corey is with Paco and Rick over at MSP Unplugged. The other podcasters out there that, are worth mentioning, Dave Sobel, Eric Anthony. I'm going to say Bradley Gross because he's going to be on a show with me later this week. Paul Green. And I don't think he's retired, but he has stopped his tub log. Richard Tubb is somebody that Richard and I had been trying for the last year to get together and do a show. And I thought we were on course to do that. And then he ups and quits. So Richard Tubb has been doing some great things in industry over across the pond. So hopefully, Richard, you're going to do well with your next venture and all of that. But happy International Podcasters Day, even though you're no longer podcasting. All right. And what else here? Oh, I want to unthank David Sohn for trying to drag me into that banana thing that he was doing on the LinkedIn. I'm not going to fall for that. And if you want to quote the phrase from Beverly Hills Cops, we're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe trick. Not going to happen. But David, thanks for mentioning me as well. So you're asking, okay, Marv, what about this Ubiquiti thing? So if you've listened to the show for the last month or so, you have heard me talk about adding Ubiquiti in my stack. And it's something that I guess if you were to talk about this 5 years ago, I would have been one of those people that would have said, Ubiquiti? You mean the prosumer version of hardware and stuff? And look at me now. Now, the history of Ubiquiti, I kind of put in the same category as Hyundai. If you remember when Hyundai first came out back in the day, we laughed and laughed at that little car. And now it is one of the premier vehicles. It is approaching the quality of a Toyota. And, Hyundai and Kia are pretty much taken over. Listen, I know Ford and Chevy are still king, but you can't laugh off Hyundai anymore. And I think that's going to be the same for Ubiquiti. You're not going to be able to laugh it off because it has gotten much better. It has added a lot of the features that IT providers, professionals, MSPs have wanted in having visibility into the complete stack, being able to add things such as cameras and doorbells, access points. They just are doing an alarm thing. I mean, they are making a complete ecosystem that is going to make it easy for us to support. We'll get into that a little bit more. We did let me bring up what I did, because the last thing that I did was I added the UniVR Instant, which I had a client where I had just put in a brand new network. We had just outfitted them with a brand new SonicWall appliance, new Ingenious managed switches, Ruckus access points, and they needed doorbells. They had a little incident. I mentioned this a little bit a couple weeks ago. So I started poking around and saying, how can I do, a doorbell camera without having to do a Dream Machine, because that's the only appliance I had put in at the time. And Mr. Miller had said, they have this thing that's out called the Instant. So I purchased that, tried that, and put in the doorbells. There is what we installed outside one floor of my client. They actually had 2 floors. And the ceiling there, I couldn't get it any, I can get it bigger, but that's not this show. The chime is in the ceiling. My cable guy was able to gently cut a hole in the ceiling tile and put the chime in there. And what's so funny is the customer didn't even realize the chime was there, even though for about a week they had been hearing the doorbell and answering it. And when I asked them to take these pictures, they're like, where is it? I like the ceiling. Here is the other floor with the doorbell there. The chime again in the ceiling. And in this particular case, we actually purchased iPads for them, and they are using it locally. So nobody actually has the Protect app on a phone or mobile device. This is strictly for them to see who is at the door, because the doors have no peepholes. The building won't let them do that. So we put these cameras in here. So all they have to do when the doorbell rings is take a look at the iPad, recognize the person, and open the door. So that's what we did. So that was the last big project. So what I want to do is go ahead and bring on my buddy Tom here. Tom, welcome to the show.
Marv, glad to be here.
All right. Oh, you know what? We may have to play with some settings here. Your voice was a little low.
A little low?
Yeah, that's not usually your thing.
Is that better?
Much better. There we go.
Do I need to speak? Do I need to speak higher? No, I'm kidding. Sorry.
So I know that Tom, probably a month ago when I started on this Ubiquiti Jersey journey, you were one of the people that we use it. It's great.
Yep.
And what do you think of what I've done so far?
I love it.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I'm an old Cisco guy. CCNP, CCDP, did Cisco for years. I still remember a lot of the command line stuff. But I hired a tech probably 10 years ago that was doing Ubiquiti at an ISP. So he said, hey, why don't you check this out? And we did. And I mean, back then the management kind of sucked. It wasn't great. You had to run it on a PC, whatever. But in the last 10 or so years, I think it's become fantastic.
Yeah.
I tried. Now, we did a lot of Meraki because Meraki had the control panel. You could log into the website, you could see everything, and it was easy to manage.
Right.
But it was also it's pricey. Cisco had their small business management platform that I tried out once, and it did not work the way I wanted it to. It only supported certain equipment. So for Ubiquiti to come out and just keep improving their management platform and adding hardware has been exciting to me, because I've got single pane of glass management. I can see what's going on with the wireless, what's going on with the switches. I have not done any access control yet, but I have the starter unit in my basement. The stuff is fantastic. It blows my mind this company can sell at the price point they're at, license free. The management is free, and it works every day. I've got 82 sites out there, and whenever somebody has a problem, I just pop in. I mean, one of my techs mainly, they pop in and look it up and go, okay, here's what's going on. This is what we see, and most of the time we can fix it from the office. And I'm paying a fraction of the cost of what my clients were paying when they were buying Cisco.
Yeah. So before I started on this Ubiquiti journey, I was going to look at doing the Ingenious MSP portal, which is a cost, but not a huge cost, but a cost nonetheless. And I was looking at that because I did not want to continue on the Special K journey that I was on previously. And they're not going to like me for saying that, but that's the truth, where I wanted to get away with paying monthly for switches, access points. I mean, paying monthly for that, I'm not going to say it's ridiculous in my mind, but it was costly. I mean, if you want to charge me for dashboard access per technician, just like a lot of our RMM and PSA platforms do, okay, that's fine. But to pay for a switch so that let me just say this. It's almost like leasing a car when you are overpaying, when you might as well have just bought the car and own it outright. That's what my clients want. They don't want to pay for equipment year over year over year. Now, I'm not saying that that's the way everybody should do it. I'm just saying that was for me.
Right.
So I like it.
I love the fact that I can have now, let's look at the complaints. It's cheap, dies, whatever. In the 10 years I've been doing this, I've had a couple of Dream Machines die, not the pros, the little pill shaped things. And we've RMA'd them and they sent us new ones and they're still running 2 years later. I've had a couple switches die, but for the price point, we can put another switch in. They're inexpensive. Everything we sell now, we sell with the 5-year advanced replacement warranty.
Yep, I did that.
I have yet to have anything die in probably the last 2 years. And I don't have to keep going back to my client. I don't have to tell them flat, up front, hey, you're going to be paying me X amount of money a month, unless they want me to own the equipment and, basically it's part of my stack where they pay me for that. That's a different situation. But when it comes to, I'm going to come in and replace your network, it's going to cost you X, $5,000. And $5,000's high. I mean, a 48 port layer 3 switch and a firewall is what? Less than $2,000?
Yeah. So just over $1,000 for the switch.
Yep.
So listen, hardware as a service. I think that's coming. I think that is something that a lot of people are going to want. And, you can do that with a lot of other brands. But here's the thing. I sold HP servers. Well, I still do. I'm just saying. Those things were expensive and we paid for the warranty and stuff. Just because they're more expensive doesn't mean they don't break. I've had servers crash. So
I've had Lenovo and HP parts die. That's the way it is. I mean, I've been doing servers since Compaq. All of them fail at some point. Some of them just fail soon.
Right. Jason in the chat writes, it's cost effective to keep one on the shelf to cover the installed base of equipment. You know what? I was thinking about that myself. Like I said, I just started. I have 5 sites up already. And I am already thinking of, you know what? Why don't I just keep some parts on hand? Now, I don't know that I'll keep, a Dream Machine on hand. But the reason I was thinking about it is there have been times where I've gone to go place an order and it's not in stock at the distributors.
I have a UDM Pro. I have at least one spare. I might have 2. I think I'm using one for something. But I'm starting to put UXGs in. Well, I've done them for the last couple of years, but I'll have to pick up a spare UXG. I have a spare 48 Pro PoE. I haven't done a lot of the cameras because a lot of the people around here are using another brand that's cheap. But I'm going to start pushing the cameras. I'll just keep one in stock. I do have cameras on my house. I have the AI bullet when you drive down my driveway. So if the sun is right when I leave in the morning, it shows my license plate number. So stuff like that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you're not getting that at the price point that the other systems I've worked on charge.
You know what? You can do that with the regular G6. You don't have to have the AI camera. I put in G6 at my gentleman, the Solo Auto Body Shop, and we put G6 cameras in there, and we actually turned off the all those features because the front of his shop is super busy, and there were so many cars passing by. So we actually turned off the smart detection for cars, the license plate, and all of that. But we left it on one camera, which is pointing out, and then all the others we turned off. We actually turned off the doorbell camera.
Oh, wow.
To where it only is the ring.
Okay.
Because again, there's so many people. It's not one of the best neighborhoods, to be honest with you. It's on a street where the other side of the street is residential.
Yeah.
The kind of residence where, there's a washing machine on the front porch.
Hey, that's a free washing machine. Well, yeah. If it's out by the curb, I guess it's free.
No, this is on the porch.
The AI bullet I have on the side of my house pointing down my driveway, I had to go in and basically block out the areas I didn't want it to notice. Otherwise, it would trigger all the time because cars drive down my road. My favorite part of having that bullet, though, was this was probably spring into summer this year. I got a notification on my phone saying that a car alarm was going off. It was a bird. There was a bird outside making the noise just like a car alarm, and the camera detected it and warned me that there was a car alarm going off.
Nice. So I got to use the doorbell feature, the voice talk feature.
Nice.
So my guy that, the body guy was out of town for about a week.
Mm-hmm.
And that Friday night, somebody had, let me see if I can do this without showing too much information. I'm going to pull up the screen here. How do I do this? Share screen. So this is his front door camera. And so this is the main street here. So all these houses, this person comes and goes at all hours of the night. So that was another reason we turned off. But a lady had literally brought in a shopping cart and a tarp and had made a little tent city right here.
Oh, wow.
And so the first night I was kind of like, really? And then the second night I'm like, okay, I got to say something. So I actually got on the talk on the doorbell and said, you can't stay here. And she freaked out. But you know what? She left, and
awesome.
She's not been back since.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. So this is the rest of their space. So
that looks great.
So the doorbell is there. This camera actually shows the rest of the front there. And we did this because I'm doing this like you can see it. So on the right side, there's a fence. That's not part of his property. There's a car wash there, and people go between that. So we kind of covered all of that there. But yeah, it's these are all the G6 bullet cams.
They look beautiful. I haven't seen the G6 yet. Those look great.
Yeah, so it's nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to start replacing the rest of the cameras on my house. When I bought the house, or when we bought the house 7 years ago, about a year into owning it, I put a bunch of low-end access cameras, like they were called Access Companion at the time. I put 6 of them on my house, and then about 6 months later, they discontinued the line. So I've been letting them die, and as they die, I replace them. So, and now that the G6 are out, I'm going to buy G6s to replace them as I'm going.
Yeah.
But I replaced one of them with that AI turret or AI bullet, and it's been a great camera. I can see everything. I go in and check it. There's always wildlife in my driveway at night, and I see when I leave and come home, and I see if people drive. Nobody drives down my driveway, though. It's kind of boring out here.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to, I hope to, in the next 2 weeks, chat with they're a not-for-profit, but they have money. So I'm not worried about it. Their camera system that they put in, they hate. The guy that installed it is never available. And the sheriff showed up a couple of weeks ago and they called me to see if I could help them get into the system because they needed some footage. And I got them in, and turns out the camera that they needed wasn't working.
Oh.
So they're not happy. So we are looking at the possibility of replacing that system. And they wanted to know if we could use the existing cameras. And so some of them, unfortunately, yes, because Synology will support third-party cameras. And I actually bought the cameras that they're using are Reolink.
Okay.
So they will record, but of course they won't do the AI stuff. So it won't alert you with any smart detections or anything like that. Right. So what I'm going to suggest is we'll keep those cameras in areas where they don't need detection, that are kind of like overseeing the rec area where they play pool and billiards and stuff like that. But in terms of all the door entries and outside, we want to replace those with the G6s. So I'm hoping they'll do that. And the pitch that I'm actually trying to get them with this is that this will be the next step in their network refresh, because we'll take over the cameras and it'll become part of my network.
Mm-hmm.
It will give the next step to upgrade their access points into the UniFi line. They have a door access system that I want to take over as well. So I'm hoping we can do that.
Have you seen the new door access? I don't know if it's out yet. It's not out yet. Actually, this month it says they have a retrofit reader, a retrofit hub, and a retrofit power supply now. So you don't have to change the readers and everything on the doors for the strike plates and everything.
Yep.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So I am looking forward to that. So hopefully we'll get the cameras, and we'll just keep moving on down the line here. Keith has had a comment here. I went to live as long as Tom. He is the oldest living MSP. He did the first network in a cave.
Keith keeps saying that I'm older than he is. He's just jealous that I still have hair. And it's beautiful. That's all it is.
Listen, what I will say to Keith is you should be happy your Cowboys won. Or I'm sorry, they didn't win. They tied. How sad is that?
Wait. They tied?
Yes, they tied.
I need to go buy a lottery ticket because I did not expect the Cowboys to even get close.
Yeah.
I mean, ever. It's just a rule.
Well, somebody had to win, but of course they tied.
Oh, Keith, I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
So sorry.
So the other thing with the doorbells that I just did, I had mentioned that, I had just replaced the network and stuff. So we weren't going to replace all their stuff, and we weren't going to replace the SonicWall with the gateway. So I went with the UNVR Instant.
Mm-hmm.
That thing is just as good as a Dream Machine or anything else.
I think that is fantastic. When they released that and they announced it, this is going to make my job way easier when it comes to the small clients that want this stuff.
Yeah.
Or the clients that only want to cover certain areas. This is awesome.
And it works great because now it doesn't give you every feature in the UniFi network, but it will, add a protect instance. And by the way, I'm doing all of my hosting directly in UI.com, unifi.ui.com.
You're using the UniFi cloud host?
Yes.
Cloud hosting?
Yeah. It's free.
Yeah.
So.
I do have a handful of clients. Where are you? I have a handful of clients in the official UniFi hosting, which is like $30 a month for up to 100 devices. Most of them I have moved over to Dream Machine Pros, and then I still have some people in Hostify. But those are the ones that I'm getting moved over to the Dream Machine Pros because it's all internal. And my philosophy on clients is like this. If I ever have a client that says, I don't want to be your friend anymore, I can just transfer the UniFi stuff to them, and I don't have to transfer them out of my cloud hosting. I can just transfer ownership.
Right.
So I don't want to lose anybody, but I don't want to hold somebody hostage. So I love the Dream Machine Pros because of that. I can here we go. Oh, you don't like me anymore? Send me an email. I'll send you ownership.
I like that as well, which is why I went with the Dream Machine SE.
Yeah.
Because for the smaller clients, I wanted the PoE capability built into that.
We just did one of those.
Now, let me ask you this. How has the hosting been Hostify versus the UniFi platform? Is there really a difference or not?
Hostify has been fantastic. They have been rock solid. I've had, in the couple of years I've been on them, I've had a couple issues, 3 or 4. Being said, and I haven't checked lately, but when UniFi Cloud Hosting came out, they would allow you to do site magic where Hostify could not.
Okay.
And I have a client with 8 locations where 7 of them are on site magic. And the only reason the last location isn't on site magic is, and I probably should check this again, at the time, I could not do site magic with a site that was doing layer 3 switching. So that site is all IPsec tunnels, but all of the others, site magic. And it SD-WAN for nothing. And one of those sites has got dual internet, and since I moved them over, we haven't had an outage.
So I haven't been able to use the WAN or the site magic because none of these clients have multiple offices. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of trying to set it up myself here, but I got to remember neither of us have static IPs. But if I remember, somebody once said you don't need to have static IPs with site magic. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. You don't need it.
Okay.
Just go into site magic, pick the 2 sites you want. It's really easy. I have an airline. Let's call them an airline. They are. When I think of airline, I think of bigger, but these guys
Spirit.
They fly planes between 2 places every day. Great people. And they have DSL at one of their locations. And they have coax at the other. Coax is static IP. The DSL is not. And we set up site magic and works like a charm.
Let's see here. There's some more comments here. Jason says Hostify has been great. And Keith says, you guys are doing stuff I do not understand. All my clients use Crestron systems. Never tried the stuff you were discussing. Well, Keith, that's why we're chatting about this, because UniFi is a platform that I think, now price-wise, it's not going to compete against those lower products, I should say. Down here in South Florida, we have, what's the name of that crappy TriNet brand that everybody hates? I can't remember. But they get the cheap NVR, which is limited to 16 channels, and they get the cheapest cameras. The cameras are like $70, $60.
Oh, that's cheaper than the stuff that we've been working on.
Yeah. So it's competing on price is not what I am going to be doing. I'm going to compete on features. Basically, the fact that I could show somebody on my phone, look at the detections that you can see with this camera. Look at the picture you can get with this camera. And that alone is worth it. Now, it's not, I have found that the doorbell, the one person we were trying to do it where he gets notified on the phone if he's not there, it's not as fast as some of the other residential programs that people have, like, like the Ring, and there's another one out there that people love. I forget the name of it. So it's not as fast. So by the time you get the notification, the person's been standing there for a minute or so.
I have a Logitech Circle doorbell cam that is tied into Apple HomeKit for my house, and it's not that fast. By the time I get notified that somebody's ringed the doorbell, I'll pull out my phone and they're already walking back to their car.
Yeah. Which is funny because I think the motion notifications are faster.
Yeah, I agree.
But the problem is you don't want to have motion notifications all the time. I mean, the one client where we put them up in the hallway, it's people walking by the door all the time.
Yeah. I have a client that I did a UniView system for, and he's retail shop, kind of retail, commercial retail, specialized stuff. And I had to restrict in the cameras. I had to restrict all of the motion areas because he has ceiling fans, and even getting close to ceiling fans were setting these things off over the weekend. So his phone was just blowing up. So you got to be careful. You don't want to drive him insane, even though I did for probably a weekend or 3.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next topic of SonicWall replacement, let's take a quick break here and recognize our sponsors.
Is your business truly protected from cyber threats? ThreatLocker is the gold standard. Zero trust endpoint protection, trusted by IT professionals everywhere. ThreatLocker blocks everything that is not explicitly trusted, denying all applications and scripts from running unless explicitly allowed. And that includes ransomware. Easy to deploy, easy to manage, and backed by a 24/7 support team that is lightning fast with response times around 60 seconds. Stop cyber attacks before they start and sleep easier at night. Click on the ThreatLocker link in the show notes and start your free 30-day trial today. Lock down your endpoints and say goodbye to ransomware. Be sure to check out our other amazing sponsors. Check out their links in the show notes or visit www.itbusinesspodcast.com/sponsors. And a special thanks to our incredible listener supporters whose monthly contributions help keep this show running strong. We truly appreciate each and every one of you for being the backbone of the IT Business Podcast.
Right, and the Amazon feature tonight. First thing I want to do is ask everybody, October 7th and 8th, Prime Day Big Deals is back. So for those 2 days, Amazon is going to be running a bunch of specials, and you can get stuff, at a huge discount. This is not Black Friday, but it is 2 days where you can get some really good stuff. And I would ask you to use the show link for the IT Business Podcast and give us a little bit of support there. No change to you on the price, but listen, 2% of anything you purchase helps. So first thing I want to do is go ahead and give you a new feature here in the show. There's a QR code, but I will have the link in the show notes. This is the iPad 11. I mentioned the client that we put the doorbells in. We bought them iPads that they could see the door when it rang and stuff, and they wouldn't have to worry about a mobile device or anything like that. Now, I bought those iPads, but I couldn't get any commission on it. But I'm just letting you know that I am using my link, but it doesn't work when I do it. So I also wanted to let you know that somebody after last week, or the week before, I should say, purchased the 16-in-1 docking station that I featured here. This, I'll be honest, I like it. I haven't had a reason to buy it yet, but somebody did. I don't know who. I hope that the person that bought it can give me a little bit of feedback and let me know, is it as good as advertised? Because I like it because, one, it's 16 things in one, and it also has both DisplayPort and HDMI that you can add where you don't have to pick or choose one or the other. So I like that feature. And last, I also want to let you guys know that it doesn't have to be tech stuff that you purchase. If you use Amazon at your house, somebody purchased this Philips Sonic Care. So I'm okay with that. Buy stuff for your house, use my link, 2% helps. So that'll all be fantastic. Tom, are you using my link?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm trying not to buy anything.
Did you get in trouble before?
No, I just got back from vacation.
Oh, okay.
So now I'm going to eat peanut butter and jelly for a while.
So your vacation was an international adventure, if I remember.
Yes, it was.
So did you spend a lot of money?
I don't think it was a lot. It was in the, upper 4 digits. So I think we spent less than 10 grand or
All right.
maybe we spent 10 grand. This was, so my wife and I have been married 30 years, September 8th. And this was we wanted up there for our 30th anniversary, and we have friends that we have done other trips with. And this was hey, let's go to Ireland and Scotland. And my part of this is I show up and we go. It was all planned out for us by the wife of the other couple, and it was awesome. Except I don't think I need to go to any distilleries for the rest of my life. 7 distilleries, that's a lot of whiskey and scotch. But it was amazing. And it was the first time we'd been overseas. So it was a lot of fun.
So that was her anniversary present?
Yep.
Very nice.
And you know, I think it was the right thing because she still likes me. So I'm good.
Well, she's got to like you for that trip, at least for a little while. All right. Let's continue on here because I know that Keith had put in the chat that he was here specifically for the SonicWall portion, and that is what we are going to chat about next. And so, yes, I did replace a SonicWall appliance with a Ubiquiti Dream Machine SE. However, let me do a little disclosure here. I did not do it at a client location. I did it here at my office because I need to see how the performance is. I will also need to disclaim the fact that the appliance that I pulled out was a 270 series. So it is the lower end of what I normally would put in. The way I do appliances here at my office is whenever we upgrade a client, I'll take a firewall and use it here until I get a new one. So the 270 actually was a client that closed doors late last year. So I had an old TZ400 that was coming up for renewal. And I'm like, I'm not going to renew. I'm going to put this 270 in. The problem with the 270 is I could not get my full gigabit speed with all the services turned on.
Yep.
So I said, let me put in the Dream Machine. Speeds, fantastic. Yep. Getting the full gig. Actually, I'm getting more than a gig on the upload, which is nice. And I haven't turned on any of the content features or the security and stuff, but of course, I had some issues with the content filtering, the geo blocking, and some stuff. There were some websites I couldn't get to with the SonicWall, and I couldn't figure out why they were being blocked. I would turn off gateway. I would turn off intrusion. I would turn off the geo protection. I would turn everything off, and the sites were still blocked. And I could not, for the life of me, figure out why. So hopefully, I'll be able to play with this for a while and see if I can figure out why. Another thing I like about the Ubiquiti gateways is in the Insights tab, you can see all the countries that are connecting with your appliance, which I'm sure there's a way to do it within the SonicWall, but I was never going to dive that deep or pay for any extra feature that would do that. It's in the Ubiquiti. And when I first turned it on, I'm like, why am I connecting to Germany?
It is incredible how much information you get for a platform that does not charge you a monthly fee. I am blown away.
It was pretty interesting, actually. Let me go there. Where is it? Insights. So, yeah. So and was it Brazil? And guess what was going out to these countries? My Wattbox.
Oh.
My watt boxes are not US based.
PDUs, the Ubiquiti PDUs?
Not yet, no.
I've got 7 of them installed for a client. The client that's got the 8 locations, and I have 1 left to do. And so this client, they have PCs in their offices that are used for an application. They're like document management. And then we have a router in each office that connects VPN back to a backend processor for them. And historically, we've had issues where I can't save documents, or I can't do a couple of things. You know, I can't get to the software. And we used to have, okay, I'm going to walk you through this. And now we just go in and go bip and cycle the port. And a couple minutes later, we're back in business. They are awesome.
So that was another thing. So far, I mean, listen, I don't have a lot of data to give everybody, except for the fact that the thing is wicked fast. And the insights into, what your top clients are, what your top destinations are. I mean, my destination is a freaking ping place. My Blink XT security camera.
That is great.
So I'm like, I don't need my Blink camera doing that much traffic. It's ridiculous. What else?
So how can you get to the sites you were having trouble with? Or
all of them. Yeah,
everything works.
Everything works. Haven't found anything. Now, granted, I've not turned on the cybersecurity, so I wanted to do this first, and I am going to activate the cybersecurity. I mean, here's another thing. I just had a client. We just spent $5,000 to upgrade their SonicWall appliance. We went from a TZ500 to a 680.
Wow.
And we did the 3 and free upgrade, and it was over $5,000. So I'm looking at this for me, and I'm like, $100.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I don't think it's going to do everything the SonicWall will do, but I think for some clients, it will do more than enough.
So the areas I see are SSL VPN,
which
you
shouldn't be using anymore anyway, right?
Right. And let me actually, where to go. So which wire is built in. So I can do WireGuard, and I can do, Wi-Fi Man, I believe.
Yeah.
And I've got VPN, or I can do L2TP. The filtering I have not played with. I do have security turned on. So under CyberSecure, I have region blocking, and I'm blocking a whole bunch of countries. I'm not using encrypted DNS, but I'm doing all the identification for device and traffic. I'm watching all of my networks. This is at the office. I have a gig down 50 meg up circuit at the office right now, coax, that is supposed to go to a gig both ways. And I run a UXG Pro at the office, and I don't have a problem. Everything works. I'm trying to figure out what I'm missing, because I have replaced a ton of Meraki firewalls and some Cisco firewalls, and I really can't come up with anything that I'm missing, at least for the size clients that I deal with. Because I got into a conversation once with a guy who was talking, well, Palo Alto does this and that. Okay, great. You've got an enterprise with 3,000 people. But when you get into that size, where'd it go? The big ones, like the cloud gateways, Enterprise Fortress Gateway.
Yeah.
That's 5,000 client support, and it does SSL inspection.
Yeah. And it's only $2,000.
I've spent more than that on Meraki. And so we did a lot of Meraki. Like I said, I was a Cisco guy. And for a long time, Cisco was telling us SSL inspection was coming. And then at one point they said, no, it's not coming. So if I'm not a huge fan, because I think it's a man in the middle thing, people can yell at me, whatever. For $2,000 for a gateway that'll do 25 gig and 5,000 clients, how do you beat that?
I don't know, but I would be interested to know if anybody has gotten one of those just yet, because again, the cost for that is $2,000. The CyberSecure, I'm assuming, is still, well, it's $4,900 for $500 $500 a year. So for the 5 years, so 6 times 5 is $3,000. You're still at the price of a SonicWall. Actually, you're less, because that SonicWall 3 and free, another 3 years, you got to either do it again or you got to pay the regular subscription price.
I've seen some guys who are doing the fully redundant high availability pairs. They're using the let me see where to go. The I don't quite understand the whole is it switching? I don't quite understand the WAN switch part of this. I mean, I get it, but I don't quite get it. But they're running WAN switches, they're running redundant firewalls, and they're still spending less than a huge Cisco.
You talking about doing this with Ubiquiti gear?
Yeah, I've seen some people who are doing the big stuff like that where they're running dual firewalls, fully redundant. Have you seen, I'm going to get off course a little bit from the firewalls. Have you seen the where to go, the enterprise campus switches?
Oh, I mean, I looked briefly, but
they have where to go. I think it's the enterprise campus aggregation, 10 gig, 25 gig with, I think it's got 600 gig QSFP 28 ports for $4,000.
Yeah.
And you can put the two of them together and do multi-chassis lag for $4,000 a switch. That is a $20,000 Cisco for one. So I'm kind of, I love this stuff. I think it's incredible. And then I'm wondering, okay, who are we going after? But I'll go after anybody. I love this stuff because it's inexpensive and I can keep a spare. And if it works, it works.
So here's my response when you say, who are we going after?
Yeah.
Now, I do have a law firm that's got one main office and 3 branch offices. Mm-hmm. We're doing VPN between them. We're doing SD-WAN with their provider. So their internet provider is doing the SD-WAN. Mm-hmm. We just took off MPLS because we weren't using their MPLS. We were doing our own VPN with the SonicWall.
Yep.
So that was a little bit of savings. The content filtering and stuff, we're not doing with the SonicWalls. We're doing with my RMM. Mm-hmm. The remote access is with TrueGrid. So we really don't need the VPN.
Right.
The only reason we do it now is so that Junior can connect to printers and copiers, and they have to pull copy counts, and they still have to do that sort of stuff. So he needed to be able to get to those devices, but to get to the desktops at the branch offices, I gave them access to my RMM. Mm-hmm. So in theory, if we can get away from the copy count stuff, they don't need. Oh, I did that.
I think it's awesome to see somebody come out and go after this stuff, go after the higher end. After living in a Cisco world for years, I did my first voice over IP, Cisco voice over IP in 99. So after living in that world for 15, 16 years, and actually I don't think we stopped doing Meraki until maybe 2019, 2020. So it's exciting to see somebody come after this and actually provide a usable, in my opinion, fantastic management platform.
Yeah. Now, Keith mentions that he's doing cluster and active passive on hardware connections. So for that particular client, the SD-WAN, we do have a active, actually it's active with a management traffic route that they had to force the traffic to go to the primary. And then if that's down, switch over to the secondary. We were doing active passive for a while, but then for some reason, they kept alerting that the second circuit was down. And I'm like, it's not down, it's just passive.
Right.
So I wonder if, no, I know I've already the dual WAN at my one client with the Dream Machine.
Yep.
I've not tried to do, any paths or bandwidth throttling or active passive. So I wonder if that can be done.
I've done, I've got a bunch of dual internet, and I have played with the load balancing, and I've played with the failover. and it's workable. It's not, with Meraki, I could say I want these machines to go out this side and these machines to go out this side. So we're not there yet, but I have no doubt we'll get there based on what I've seen over the last 5 years.
And probably for most clients, especially if they're on the smaller side, they probably don't need it to be as robust as regular SD-WAN.
No, I have a handful of clients that we do bigger. And then I've got a lot that are, 20, 25 people who, if their firewall goes down, will swap a new one in. They're not gonna bother paying for a second internet connection.
Out of time, I want to get to this last topic here because it's if people are allowed to show this long, they're going to hear me make a comment that they're going to go, really? So I brought up the fact that, Synology has the UNAS 2 that they were touting, and I looked at it, and as much as I'm all in on their access points and their cameras and their doorbells, I am not all in on the UNAS. If all you're looking for is storage, then yeah, maybe. But I have found that I am so in love with Synology, with all the apps between the backup and the fact that I can run my domouts on it, the fact that there's so many things you can do. I don't even do all the container stuff that everybody talks about doing. The snapshots, the backups, the active backup, the virtual machines I'm doing on a couple of larger Synologies. I am riding the Synology train as far as it's going to go, at least for now. And I love the fact that they are locking these hard drives down. And I know that's probably not what people want to hear, but I like it because you know what that tells me is that they're concerned about their support. They're concerned about their machines working. They want them to be more reliable. And if the number one complaint is from people saying, why isn't my system working? And the response is, get some better hard drives. Now, granted, they're rebranded, yes. But if people had followed the compatibility list in the years past, we have this issue now. And that's my thoughts on that.
I'm fairly new to the whole NAS game. I bought a Synology a couple years ago because I shoot video for almost every gig I play in the little bar band I'm in. So I built a Synology. I've got a bunch of storage. I didn't figure out the whole hosting whatever thing until I've been playing around with a Home Assistant. And I had Home Assistant on a NUC, and it didn't work well. I had it on a Raspberry Pi, it didn't work well. I had it as a Docker container on the Synology after I figure out I could do that. Didn't like the way it worked, so I ran it as a full-blown virtual machine on my Synology, and that's a game changer. I love that. And now I got into the Synology before the drives became, you got to buy Synology drives.
Right.
I completely understand why they're doing it. But what I can do on the Synology versus a UNAS Pro, they're two different things. If I just want file storage, I'll do the Ubiquiti. But if I want to run, because you and I have talked about this, domouts.
Yeah.
If I want to throw one of these into a site and run domouts on it without having to put another box on the network, that's perfect.
And now I have used some of the higher end stuff. I actually have a SA 3610 that I've got at a client that I replaced. I'm going to say it again. These people are going to hate me. I replaced a data box with this, and I'm running active backup and doing hyper backup to the cloud because they don't need all the fancy features. I do have one machine that we are virtualizing so that if we have to run it as a backup, we can do that. I'm running the 3622 as a file server for that big law firm I told you that right now it's 100 people.
Yeah.
And they're running that as their file server.
That's the way to do it.
And
I think that's fantastic.
Now I'll be honest, I've not worked with the lower end stuff. that a lot of the people that are complaining about the drives, they're complaining about it on like the little DS series and stuff. So again, I should probably disclose the fact that I've only purchased the XS series and above, usually the XS Plus.
I have, I can't log in. Hold on. I have a DS something.
Well, I used to do the 720, which is now the 723. I think they replaced that now with the 725. And then I was doing the 900 series because I wanted the minimum I was going to do was 4 bays. I finally got to, I'm doing 4 bays. My first 2 RAID ones, I'm doing the SSD drives, and then storage are the SATA drives in the second 2. But then I went to the 3622 for that client. So, but the DS series, the DS Pluses.
I think I have a DS 918 Plus. I think that's what I've got.
Okay.
I can't log into it right now. Keeper is down.
Oh, Keeper. They had some big news. Who did they partner with?
Oh,
I got busy with something.
Atlassian. That was May. CrowdStrike 3 weeks ago. Keeper and CrowdStrike partner for cybersecurity.
So they did improvements to the Web Vault, the desktop app, and the password importer. Blah blah blah. Of course, they're down. So what does it matter?
Oh, there it is.
Keeper AI was presented at Black Hat USA.
Is this a 918? Your podcast with Kevin. And once I heard him mention he was a Home Assistant guy, now I'm going to pick his brain for hours.
Well, apparently with 1,300 devices, you have plenty to talk about.
That's incredible. I have a handful, and now I've got a pretty decent Apple ecosystem, and I've got switches, I've got Hue lights, I've got the doorbell, I've got locks, Yale locks. I don't have 1,300.
I don't want 13. Let me be honest. I do not want any of that stuff.
My wife always told me that if I were to die, she would rip out everything, but she knows how to run it all. So I don't think she would.
Yeah, but can she?
Okay, that's a good point.
All right. Well, Tom, thank you very much for coming on the show and being my sounding board for all the stuff I've recently done. I probably will be switching a lot more over to Ubiquiti. I'm going to have to do a mea culpa to the Ingenious folks because we just tried to do a bunch of stuff with them. And I just got, they were, how were they doing it? I didn't win it, but I got a free access point in the mail last week that they just asked me to activate and get a chance to win $100. But now I got to figure out what I'm going to do with that, because now that I've got the Dream Machine here at my office, I may want to swap out my access points. I've got a Ruckus.
I have, back when the building bridges, the Ubiquiti bridges came out, I have a barn about 100 feet away from the house, and I wanted to put a camera in the barn because I went out there one day and found beef jerky wrappers in the cab of my tractor. And it wasn't me. I don't sit out in the tractor and eat beef jerky. I don't know who was. So I went to buy the building bridge, and it was the UBB or whatever, and they were out of stock. So I bought a set of a set of Ingeniouses. So I've got the Ingenious bridge between the two. Recently, I had a client we sold a UBB to, and we didn't need it. So I am leaning toward pulling the Ingenious out and putting the UBBs in just so I can manage them all together, because I've got the system.
Yeah.
I've got a Dream Machine Pro here. I've got a switch. I got all, access. I think I have 5 access points and 3 cameras. And this is just the house.
Yep. Listen, I think it's going to be the future here. So Ubiquiti, you are getting enterprise features at home lab budgets, no subscription fees. Now, granted, not a ton of documentation, and I haven't had to use support yet, but the fact that the stuff has just worked has been great. And it is excellent for small businesses. And I don't know what size I'm going to go up to. For the most part, I had originally assumed that I would keep my attorneys on the SonicWall and Ingenious stuff. But you know what? I may swap out if their switches are as good as they say, and the fact that I can do the gateways. I want to get the fiber gateway and see how that works.
I have, so once they upgrade me to DOCSIS 4, I have the enterprise coax from Spectrum at the house and in the office. They're supposed to upgrade us to DOCSIS 4, so we'll get gig both ways. And then the new cable modem is going to have a 2.5 gig port. So I have a 2.5 gig SFP waiting for this for my Dream Machine Pro here. I got to pick one up for the office. I'll throw that in, and everybody I've talked to said I'll be able to pull 1.2 gig down. So the switches have voice here, but in the office, we're doing VLANs for voice. We're doing LLDP and voice VLAN, so the phones go right to the right VLAN. I have a guest wireless network in the office. It's on a separate VLAN that's isolated. I lost my law firm client a couple years ago, but they were all Ubiquiti, Dream Machine Pro, some of the Wi-Fi 6 stuff, 48 Pro PoE switch. Actually, I had 2 switches because they had that many devices. And everything was secure. Oh, and Ubiquiti. So I've had to use Uport, and I've just used the chat support, but they weren't that bad. They actually fixed the problems I had. It took them a couple weeks to fix the problems I had, and I found a workaround via the command line. But Ubiquiti does have an enterprise level reseller and join. It's about $1,000 a year. And with that, you get, as an MSP or, IT company, you get training, and you can sell the stuff that is listed as enterprise. So if I go to the store and I go to Cloud Gateways and it says Enterprise Fortress Gateways, it says UniFi Partner Program, I can sell that because I'm an enterprise partner. I think it cost me $1,000, and I think I get 10 phone support calls a year with that, but I have yet to use them.
All right. Well, where I need to use them, and so far, so good, and I like it.
Heck yeah.
All right, folks. Well, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for participating in the chat. Keith wants to take credit for eating your jerky.
Keith, stay out of my tractor. Come on, man. You can knock on the door and ask. See, now I have to lock the tractor up. Yeah.
Well, Keith, good luck to your Cowboys. Let's see if they can get a win next week. I don't know who they play, but I'm going to bet against them. Doesn't matter who it is.
Good luck, Keith. I hate to see you disappointed every week, but then again, kind of.
If you've got some thoughts on Ubiquiti, folks, if you heard what we talked about tonight and you're like, Marv, you need to consider this, you need to think about that, or what about this? Send me a note. Let me know. Everything is over at itbusinesspodcast.com. There's a contact me button. If you are not a subscriber to the show, also check out the follow section. You can follow us in your favorite podcatcher or here on the social medias. We are on LinkedIn, YouTube, and the Facebook. And again, we're here just about every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, we've got audio podcasts that are releasing. Tom mentioned the one that I did with Kevin Dukavich. That was just recently released. I had 2 with Jermaine Clark on Friday and Tuesday, where we talked about the readiness of AI for MSPs. And I will be doing a special report with Bradley Gross this Friday on the increasing number of attorneys ambulance chasing ransomware. So that should be interesting. So tune in for those, folks. And thank you for hanging out here tonight. Tom, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Marv. It's been a pleasure.
We will see everybody soon. And until then, holla.